In this video, we're going to check out Lenovo's latest gaming system or portable gaming system, and this one's called the Legion Go S. Now, this one's running the SteamOS operating system, not Windows 11, like the one that's been available for some time. Some optimizations here with two different variants, one with the Ryzen 1 Z1 Extreme chip and one with the Z2 Go. Both are going to give us a great gaming experience, and this one actually gives us the ability of using SteamOS. No more overhead with Windows operating system. Everything runs much smoother, no worries about drivers or anything like that. It just runs all your games, and now even has native, or at least a much easier way of installing GeForce Now. So without further ado, this is TK. This is the Legion Go S 8th edition with SteamOS. Let's check it out and see what makes it so special. Now, as you saw there with the box, this one is actually ginormous. This is the actual box that it comes with it, made by Lenovo. And of course, for quick spec information here, if you guys are not familiar with the system, this one is the Legion Go S. Now, the Legion Go S has two variants. There's the Windows 11, which has been available for some time, and now we have SteamOS running as the operating system. And of course, we still have the ability of jumping into Linux in there as far as what we normally get with, let's say, a Steam Deck. This one is actually running an 8-inch display. It's an 8-inch WXGA display. It's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, so slightly different, but what we also get here is a 55.5 watt battery hour, giving us the ability of playing somewhere between 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the profile that you're doing on a consistently off battery. But the nice thing is we also have the ability of using it with basically plugging it in directly, since they include the charger. Of course, we also have the Hall effect sensor joysticks in here. Very nice. Variable refresh rate here from 1 to 120 frames per second. Of course, adjustable triggers here in the back with an adjustable clip on each one. And an entirely unified, better ergonomic configuration than what we've had in the first generation. Inside of that big box, we get the Legion Go S here directly inside of its box. It's inside a nice little styrofoam thing. You kind of get an example of what the system is intended to be. It's a portable gaming system that you can plug into to a monitor. You can use it to play games directly on it. We have the triggers, and you can customize them with the lever to actually give you that right response that you're looking for. And before we go too far, I really found it very nice that Lenovo includes actually a cardboard cutout, but essentially a stand. The ability of setting it up, if let's say you're going to be using this with some glasses or connecting a keyboard and mouse to it, it's going to work perfectly because it comes with a stand, and now you have the ability of using it as a normal, let's say, gaming system. Their first generation, or one of their other options that they used to come with a kickstand built into this. This one does not have that. We have the two triggers. We have the intake air here, of course, some stickers on the back. We're going to go through the actual ergonomics. They also do include the US style charger here. Let's get that focus. It's a 65 watt charger, USB-C. The wire is hardwired. There is no way of removing it, but it does come with a nice little organizing zip tie here. And that's pretty much it. You get the actual system, the charger, and a nice stand to be able to use whenever you want to. So as we talked about before, this is a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, 8-inch display, and of course the Hall effect joysticks in here, the triggers that we have. And I talked to you guys about the whole configuration here. You can actually adjust the configuration of how much clicking option you have on the actual trigger here. You can either push it all the way down or give it a little bit more response depending on how you prefer to customize the experience. Of course, two buttons on the back, all programmable. And of course, this is running SteamOS as the operating system. So as you notice here, we have the awake and put to sleep button on the top right, illuminated, and also indicates the battery level that we have. We have a volume up, volume down, a headphone jack with a microphone built in, a dual USB-C capable ports here that has USB 4.0. That's really nice. The ability of not only being able to charge, but also use the second port if you want to connect a USB mouse and keyboard. You have two ports. You can use it to actually allow it to play games while you're charging it directly so that you're able to go for an extended gaming session. On the top, we have the exhaust system for the intakes that we have on the back here to keep the system running cool. We have two trigger buttons here on the top, and of course two additional ones on the back, and of course the YXBA buttons. Of course, some configuration options in here. A smaller touchpad than what we've seen in the Steam Deck in the past, but it is present. And we have two 2-watt speakers positioned facing us so that we get the audio experience direct. And of course, a much better configuration on the grip. We have a textured grip on both the right and left hand, and they are non-removable. So this is not a compared to the system that they've had last year. The one thing I do want to mention also on the bottom is we do have access to, we have the ability of adding an SD card option in here. So it gives us the ability of additional storage as well. Although you can also plug it in if you have a nice little dock. There's some options available already on the market. If we press the button here, you'll notice the red indicator here just turns on. That means the display is going to start off for us. And right out of the box, it's going to go ahead and reconnect to the Wi-Fi configuration. You're able to log in with your SteamOS account, install and download all your Steam applications. So you can just jump in here. Let's go to library. And you can see basically what it'll do automatically is it'll categorize your library itself. So all my entire library has about 41 different games installed in here. But out of those 41, 30 are compatible. Now, a lot of this has been done because of what we've seen in the past with the Steam Deck OLED. One thing to mention, and I didn't get a chance to mention at the beginning, that this is an IPS panel. This is not an OLED, but the colors on here are pretty nice. And of course, we have the variable refresh rate from 0 all the way to 120 frames per second. But essentially, once you go ahead and click the top left button, we have access. You can see here, I'm running Doom, GeForce Now, which is absolutely fantastic. Home, you can go to library, you can jump into the store. This is the Steam store connected directly through the internet. You can download, and you can actually, again, go through and see the applications or the games that are compatible. So you can see here, if I want to install, I can go through and download and install all of these. You have Apex Legends, Beat Saber, Cyberpunk, of course, compatibility, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, different games, racing game, and of course we have Marvel Rivals here, Mortal Kombat. Now out of those, I've installed Devil May Cry, I've installed Doom, God of War, of course Marvel Rivals, and of course, last but not least, Mortal Kombat, just to be able to get a feel of the system. The one that I have here is the Z1 Extreme system version of this. There's two variants. There's the Ryzen Z2 Go, and then that has a 16 gigabytes of RAM with 512 gigs of internal storage. And the Z1 Extreme Edition gives you the ability of getting 32 gigabytes of RAM at LPDDR5X and a 1 terabyte SSD built in directly into the system, which makes it absolutely fantastic. As I said again, you're able to customize some of these things with previous systems. This one is absolutely the best that Lenovo has to offer to date. And again, this one's running the SteamOS operating system as its native operating system. From there, again, you can go into non-Steam, and this is where we'd be able to jump into GeForce Now. Now, GeForce Now for me was an easy installation. You do need to jump into the Linux experience here. So to do that, you would go into settings, you go into power, and then you say basically switch over to desktop mode. And it's very, very simple. I'm pretty sure a simple Google search will get you access to exactly knowing what or which games are available and how to basically customize them. And if you do need to, you can customize the touchpad and jump back into the system there. But other than that, from the library, you can go to the store, as we talked about that. You can also go into friends and chat, media, downloads, if you have any downloads or updates. For me, basically, I just finished downloading and installed Doom not that long ago. We have Mortal Kombat 1. I installed that. I've been playing that quite a bit. And last but not least, we have the settings section. And as we've seen with the Steam Deck or OLED or even the first gen, straightforward experience. You can go in, customize the display, the power, the audio, the Bluetooth, the controller configuration, the customization, downloads, family, remote, system. And this is also going to be where, well, let's go ahead and go back. I just went to the wrong section here. We'll go into settings. This is where we go under system and see if there's any updates. And again, this is the benefit of having SteamOS over a Windows version. This takes care of everything for us. If there's an update to the game, SteamOS takes care of it. It has less system requirements than what we typically seen in the past with Windows. So overhead and the way the system runs has been much smoother, and I really appreciate that. The other thing you can also want to remember is that you also see here the two running systems that you have if you want to be able to jump between games or even jump back into the library. Last but not least, if you want to switch over again to desktop mode or put the device into sleep or restart, this is pretty much where you want to be able to do that and just customize the experience. And of course, if I want to be able to jump back into my game, I go to campaign, I find my game slots, my saves, and I could go ahead and say continue game and then load it up directly. I have my information just showing here at the top just so you guys have a reference for that. Okay, definitely not my best experience here. I'll go ahead and say exit the desktop, primarily because I'm trying to show you guys how to play. I'm playing with this and I'm actually using. Again, most of the experiences are very, very nice. You can jump back into the system. Again, GeForce Now primarily is the only thing that I have running. And this gives us the ability of basically launching games directly using the GeForce Now application. It runs very nicely. And again, it's natively installed now. It's an application in here and you can launch it directly as if you're running any other app. You jump back into the system, you go into the library, and you can just select, again, the non-Steam games, and you can go in there. You can install additional games, buy games, and customize the entire experience. Now, I also mentioned to you guys at the beginning is that I appreciate the fact that we have those two USB-C ports at the top, not only because we're able to connect peripherals to them, but it's also because the ability of charging and using them as basically as an extended gaming session. Now, I like using accessories like these. These are the X-Reels 1 Pro. Now, they've made other glasses called the X-Reel 1s, and these are one of the best display glasses you're able to pick up on the market right now. Not only do they have clear glass, but they also have a very nice aesthetic customization, an electrochromatic glass configuration that allows us to actually dim the glasses, and so we have a better experience when we're going, but also the ability of using the eye, which is a very nice little accessory. Short answer, when you want to play games for an extended amount of time and have a very nice, beautiful, large display connected and powered directly through the system, as well as you being able to power the system at the same time, these are going to be fantastic. So I've been using these when I'm traveling, when I'm sitting in the car waiting for my son to finish his practices. This is absolutely fantastic because it just brings in that large display gaming session with me on the go. And for all intents and purposes, literally, if I don't have the charger with me, I'm not using it, this is all I need. You can definitely customize the experience by just pressing on the top right and going in there. You have notifications, your friends, your settings. You can go in there, customize the brightness, the different experience, airplane mode, Wi-Fi, of course, Bluetooth, all the different options. As far as performance, you're able to go in there and change the different performance system. You have custom, performance, balance, and low power. The higher the performance or the higher the profile, obviously, the more demand that you're going to be going in here. You can customize the view here from going from basic view or going advanced view. So under advanced view, you can customize your refresh rate. You can disable the frame limiter here, enable variable refresh rate, allow tearing, of course, half rate shading, and then of course manual GPU clock. You can just directly let it be in auto mode or scaling. And of course, last but not least is the scaling filter here, depending on the system that you're using. And of course, the way you can go in here, you can customize, you can turn off the little indicators in here to jump in to show all the information that you want, or even just show the frame rate position on the top left. Now, one of the biggest things I'll probably will say is having SteamOS over Windows 11, there's a slightly different experience here. Now, again, Lenovo has released the Windows version quite some time ago. SteamOS just finally came out, and I like the fact that we have a couple of flavors. You can go with a little bit more affordable version with the D2 Go option. That's the processor with 16 gigs and 512 on the storage. And of course, you can also go directly with the Z1 Extreme. Now, the Z1 Extreme runs beautifully. Now, this is what I've been using and I've been testing for the last few weeks. And for me, what I've experienced with this over what I had with the original Steam Deck, because I never got the OLED, I'm still running the original Steam Deck, which has an LCD panel, is the larger display, just that jump in performance, the ergonomics, the triggers, the joysticks that we have in here. The response time is absolutely fantastic. The ability of customizing the power consumption on this here with the different profiles. We have performance, standard, and battery saving will also kind of shape the experience that you're going with. If you decide to plug it in and go ahead and start playing games and you're using the headphones, you're going to be very, very nicely surprised, because the ability of connecting this and having additional peripherals is what makes this into a portable gaming PC. And the reason I say this is handhelds are great for us to be able to play with them on our own, but pair this with an X-Reel 1 Pro or an X-Reel 1 pair of glasses, and you're now taking this at a large display experience with you regardless where you are. On the plane, in the car, in the office, wherever you are and you want to be able to take a quick break, this is going to work perfectly for you. Plug in a pair of headphones and you're going to be even more immersed into this. And again, based on the customizations that you put there, you're going to get different experiences. For me, I'll say that for the most part, I've been able to get about an hour and a half worth of off-battery performance mode running on the system, and I've been keeping it in performance mode. Primarily because I want to be able to enjoy the higher refresh rate, the best graphic quality, and the gaming experience that I wanted to get into this. Again, you can plug it in, you can use it on power, and it will just basically mean that it's going to be running the fans a little higher. You are going to hear them, and of course, the really nice thing about it is because of the ergonomics of the system, the air never actually, well, you'll never really feel the heat. The air intake is from the back, so that automatically comes in this way. And then, of course, the outtake is directly to the top, so none of it goes around where your hands are, and none of it comes towards you, so you never have to feel it. You will hear it, but you don't have to feel it. Ergonomically, just feel exactly, just one finger, two here, and then, of course, the joysticks with the buttons. I love the ergonomics. I love the configuration. The weight is actually pretty decent. It is a little heavier, but I will probably say overall, it's a portable system, so it's not heavy for that matter. Now, what are some of the things I would have loved to see out of the system, or at least some things I probably will say maybe Lenovo should have included in the box? I like the fact that in the other systems that they carry, they include a carrying case. They also include a covering or cleaning cloth. From a portability standpoint, it makes it a little bit hard for us to make sure that the joysticks and everything is actually protected when you have it in your case. So one of the things I probably will say is make sure to pick up a case for this if you don't have one already. As far as your charger, of course, make sure that the case does include something that you can carry it with. And I feel like this is going to be the best experience because, again, for my X Reels, I have a shell. It's nice, protective, and make sure that everything is perfectly configured there. And then from this one, because we don't have a handle and there's no kickstand, I feel like a case will also help us kind of prop it if we want to be able to use it as more of a standing experience and use a peripheral, let's say a mouse and a keyboard. And that's the beauty here. It's a flexible system. You can connect it to your monitor, connect the keyboard and mouse, and play games as if you're running a PC. You can connect it directly to X-Reel glasses and have it a portable, modular, large TV-like experience on this. And the really nice thing about the X-Reel ones is the fact that they have the X1 chip, which allows us to actually have a large display that's positioned or fixed in space or moves with us, or even kind of like a little bit almost like a top right view so that you can actually interact and do some work while still being able to keep an eye on what's going on with your system. Runs, again, Linux. You can jump into the Linux version of this. And I feel like, in my opinion, again, Windows is a great operating system till we see Xbox and what Microsoft's going to be doing with that handheld when that becomes available. SteamOS for me right now is still the solution for portable experience. Not because I have 90% of my games in there, but I feel like just from the overall ergonomics, functionality, ease of use, and not have to worry about updating things. Generally, all the updates will come through. They'll get installed and everything will just run the way it's supposed to, just like you have it on your desktop. So that's the benefit of the Legion Go S. With that being said, I do want to say thank you to Lenovo for allowing me to check out the Legion Go the Legion Go S 8-inch edition with SteamOS. This one is obviously the top spec, the Z1 Extreme with the 1TB storage, 32 gigs of RAM. Obviously the best experience you're able to get there. But please keep in mind that there is the Ryzen G2 Go version that does have 16 gigs of RAM with 512 gigs of internal storage. That still gives us the same form factor, display, refresh rate, and customizations. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.